3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash. Today is Wednesday, December 11th, 2019. You know what that means. It's Ash Wednesdays. It's new comic book day. It's a day to celebrate. And it's a day for me to have to face the music. I forgot Stan and Forky. I know, it's terrible. I'm a terrible person, human being. So hopefully you can forgive me. Today we have special guest fill-in co-host. This is Luke and Luna. Luna's on the left, the little pug. That's Luke. You can guess who he's named after. And these are the ones you kind of hear in the background all the time, making noises, always wanting to get on camera. Look, it's your camera time, guys. You guys, look, you're the stars. You finally made it, episode 20. Oh, you don't care. She just wants her ball. All right, so you can't count on. It's hard to get good help these days. So I promise I'll get Stan and Forky back next week. All right, look at it. Just already going down to just chill out. You did your part. Good job. Anyways, those aren't my dogs. Those are my good friends' dogs. I'm at their house. I do some dog sitting for them, and they have a beautiful home. And it's really great to record videos. And that's why you kind of see me doing videos here often. And today, let's talk about comics. That's why you're actually here. On this box, what you see here, if you haven't ever watched an episode before, every week I get lunch with my comics. And, most people have lunches, like, right? So it's a ritual for me. I love In-N-Out Burger. And so I get an In-N-Out Burger with my new comics. I make it a ritual. I try to make New Comic Day as fun as possible. And this one lost her ball under the couch. And now she's going to disturb us. We're recording. Hello. I have to pause the recording now. Forget it. We're going to do it live. We'll do it live. If you know that reference, put it in the comments below. That's great. So I get an In-N-Out Burger every week, and it's turned into a tradition to show it off on camera. I used to just talk about it. Mike could just talking about my life. But look at this beautiful burger. Look at that. I'm going to eat that, and you're going to wait. But you're not going to have to wait too long because of the magic of video editing. But hopefully you guys get to make some ritual for yourself on New Comic Book Day. And tell me what you do. Do you get comics on Wednesdays? Is it something that you look forward to every week? Do you go get lunch? Do you make it a special day? What do you do on New Comic Book Day? Or if your New Comic Book Day is not Wednesday because you have things in your life that prevent you, maybe you go down on Friday. Some people go down on the weekend, get their new books. Whatever it is, whatever you do on your particular New Comic Book Day, tell me in the comments if there's anything besides just grabbing the books. Do you try to make it special, make an event out of it, or whatever? I don't know. I'd like to hear. That'd be really cool. In the meantime, I'm going to stop wasting your time, making you hungry. I'm going to eat this burger because I'm hungry. And I'm going to have to get this one's ball because she's going to just not be nonstop throughout the whole video. So thanks for watching this part. The video's not over. Stay tuned. I'll be back in a jiff. Thank you so much for indulging me enjoying my burger. I really appreciate it. It's a ritual that I do. I have a lot of fun. I know some people come on the channel and they watch and I go, why are you showing this burger? This is stupid. You don't get it. I get that. Fast forward. Other people, I took it away once. People are like, what happened to the burger? So it's just a good little fun thing. You can always skip forward. That's the beauty of YouTube. Anyways, today's episode 20, I'm a Snob. And so I wanted to talk about me using my iPad correctly. I wanted to talk about being a snob. I've come to realize that that's what I am. And it all came down to this past week where I was thinking about X-Men. And why is it that among my peers, so many people seem to like X-Men, the new Dawn of X books? Particularly I had a very negative reaction to the New Mutants #2. I think that book was god awful. See my video if you want to know more details. But some of the people I really respect love that book. And I don't get it. I respect their opinions. I don't think that they're stupid people. And I really appreciate having differing opinions. As part of why I do these videos, is why I like to talk to people. I like to see why other people have different perspectives than my own. And it's okay to like different things. We all have different world experiences that cause us to take away things differently than other people. But in thinking about this past week, I was thinking about other things in my life that I'm a fan of. Whether it's TV, comics, books, movies, different things that I like. I've always been very particular, very snobbish. And I think that's part of it. I used to make this analogy about anime in the old days of anime, before, the internet, and how, being able to buy anime at Best Buy. and it's just nowadays it's so mainstream. I used to have to go to this club in Southern California back in the late 80s called Scan. And it was hosted on San Diego State University campus. And they would start at like noon. And I think, if I remember right, it ran to like 6. So it had like the 6-hour block that they would show anime shows. And I didn't like every show. Most of the people there, back then, you were either like into anime, you liked everything, or people looked at you like you're a freak. And I was one of these weird people. It's like, I like some of these shows, and the shows I liked, I really liked. And I would just put up with the other shows that are there. But over time, it kind of became boring, some of these. I was like, I don't want to sit through all of these things I don't like. And, these other fans that were there, we didn't relate in that level because they just loved everything. It was all great. And it's because I'm a snob. I used to tell people that didn't understand anime, or they would watch an anime and be like, oh, make it, a sweeping judgment. Oh, anime's stupid. I've seen a couple that I don't like it. And I would say, well, bear in mind that anime is like most things, is what I would say. That about 5% of it is good. The rest is trash. So if you see something and it's trash, don't just say, oh, well, don't judge the whole medium. I'm sure there's something in the medium that you would like. And I find that to be true with movies, TV shows. The TV shows I like are great. And most of it, though, that's just throwaway stuff for me, which is what I call trash. Now, we may disagree on what's trash and what's not trash, and that's part of what makes having a channel like this and discussions fun. But I just wanted to talk about my own thoughts, so maybe you as a listener can understand where I'm coming from. Because I'm just here to be a schmo expressing their feelings about comics. And if you're listening right now, it's because you have it in you to listen to other people talk about their feelings and talk about their opinions and their philosophies, which I understand. I don't just make videos. Like, I predominantly listen to other people's videos. This is just for a way to express back. I like listening to people. I like listening to opinions, philosophies, and I used to be a huge podcast listener, but YouTube's kind of replaced that for me. I used to listen to talk radio. Hearing people talk about their ideas and things, I think, can be very interesting. Anyways, I'm probably boring the hell out of you already on this. So I just want to talk about this new X-Men books. I'm not liking them. And it's all due to me, I think, being a snob. I don't just accept mediocrity, especially in the things that I like. And I like X-Men. X-Men is my favorite comic book series. It's what got me into comics. It's something I absolutely love. And I hate to see it just be okay. I can tolerate it. But what I really hate now is these other books, this whole Dawn of X, it's less than mediocre. I mean, you have these mediocre stories, and then you've got really stupid character developments. You're making stories about characters that I hate. It's like there's very little for me to see. And other people don't agree. They're like, well, I don't know what your problem is, Ash. And, I think these books are just fine. They're sure a lot better than the previous X-Men. And it's like, okay, fantastic. being better than something else doesn't make it good. And I have a limited amount of things that I can consume. And I just don't like wasting that on things that I find to be mediocre. And I don't like it even more when it's something I have emotional investment in. I'm a big fan of X-Men, so seeing it be this way when I have hundreds of books that are phenomenal, and I remember that, I'm a Chris Claremont fanboy, so I have that run. I'm like, this is what it should be, not this. And so I kind of understand how a lot of the Star Wars fans feel in that respect. I don't have animosity necessarily towards X-Men. I've just been, it takes a lot to impress me. I guess that's what I'm getting at. I'm not easily impressed because there's enough out there of things to be wowed by and really impressed. For example, Jeff Lemire is knocking my socks off with this new Ascenders series. It's phenomenal. It's not over yet, so I don't want to pass a complete judgment on the book, but if it ends well, I'm going to declare it, like a masterpiece of comics. It's among the best comics I've ever read. But I read that, and then I go read an X-Men book, and even though I care more about X-Men, I'm like, this did not even come close to the same entertainment level. It's not at all. And I'm just like, why am I putting myself through this? Just because I like X-Men, because I want X-Men to be good? I'm not going to do that. I'm not gonna lie to myself, and I'm certainly not gonna lie to you guys about my feelings on this. And I think, not accusing anyone, but I do think that there's some people out there that are so emotionally invested. They love the House of X and Powers of X so much. They're such big fans of Jonathan Hickman that they refuse to see the flaws, right? And I think we're still in the honeymoon phase. House of X and Powers of X was like getting married, and then now Dawn of X is the honeymoon, and we're like, yeah, everything's so exciting, and when is it going to wear off? I think for me, it's wearing off right now. And I'm getting tired of accepting the mediocrity, and my pull list is dwindling because the more I see how good a comic can be, the less tolerant I am of average. And most of these X books aren't even average. So that was kind of dry. Maybe that was boring to hear. I want to just get off your chest so you could kind of understand me a little bit of who I am, what I care about in comics. And I recognize that I'm a snob. And so maybe that'll help you when you hear me talking about comics to maybe take certain things with a grain of salt. Say, I like this book, Ash doesn't, but Ash is a snob. It's okay if we like different things. It's perfectly okay. Thank you very much for making it through this part of the segment. Like I said, I'm sure this wasn't wildly entertaining. This is just more cathartic for me and just want to communicate to you. And maybe you knowing a little bit more about me and my thoughts will make what I say matter a little more. I don't know. But let's get on to the next segment. Marvel versus DC. All right, so this is one of my favorite things I love to do. It started off with a segment about Marvel doing new number ones, but now I just do this Marvel versus DC. The first thing that I do is the top 10 digital sales. This is the sales for last week as according to Comixology. And what I like, I always spoil this. What I like about doing this list is that it's digital comics. So these sales are based purely off of people who want to read the book. They do not care about buying multiple covers. They don't care about, it was the first appearance of so-and-so, I got to get this. There's no speculation, none of that. This is purely, I'm paying my $3.99 or $4.99, whatever you're paying, and I'm getting a read. And I also recognize that it's not your average, these are people who don't go to comic book shops typically to buy their books, so it is a different demographic, but who cares? It's just fun, and I find it interesting to see what's going on. So number 10 this week is Lois Lane. And I have to say just real quick, I'm a little bit bummed because number 11 was Daredevil. Number 11 was Daredevil. And that's the book I keep championing for Marvel. It's like Marvel's version of Hawkman. It's the book you should be reading. Chip Zdarsky is doing a fantastic job. And it's 11 because of this crap book. Oh, look, it's Event Leviathan Aftermath. Such a non-issue. Anyways, if you're liking Lois Lane, more power to you. Apparently, digital readers really like it. It's top 10. Next, Green Lantern Black Stars. This is actually Green Lantern 14, but DC decided they needed to be more like Marvel and go for those gimmicky number 1 cash grabs. So this is what you have. It ends next issue, and then we're going to start Green Lantern over on Green Lantern 16, and it'll actually be Green Lantern 1, Season 2. So get used to that. DC and Marvel are going to start milking you with all these reboots all the time because they want a cash grab. They don't want to earn your fandom through quality writing, consistency, continuity, things that take work, when they can just change the number and you'll come running. But anyways, congratulations. None of that matters to digital readers. So Green Lantern Black Stars is number 9. Number 8 is Die, number 10. And this is a book that started off super strong, kind of fell off a little bit. I didn't hear people raving about it. In the beginning, people were like, "God, Die is the best comic. Die," not to be confused with Die. But now here it is back at number 8. Number 7, Amazing Spider-Man. I love this cover. I love Dr. Doom. I also like Tony Daniel's art. Seeing Tony Daniel do it's cool. But I think this 29.9 crossover. Anyways, you don't care what I think. This is Spider-Man's number 7. People are enjoying it. Congrats, Marvel, for making Spider-Man enjoyable to some people. It's one of their best-selling books, so they're doing something right. Number 6 is Young Justice, issue 11. This book is still going. I don't know why. I read the first 6 issues. They were trash. But digital readers, I think, are a lot of modern readers, is my guess. A lot of younger, maybe 20-somethings. They're not really comic people, but they like some of the stuff, and they're going to be more likely to consume things digitally. Kind of makes sense. Young Justice is very much like sitcom, so funny, random. I'm confusing my things. So random, silly Billy humor. It's no plot. It's brain dead. There's really nothing to think about. It doesn't give you anything to think about. There's no plot to try to work out in your head. It's brain dead writing. That's really cutesy with teenagers, snappy back at each other. It's Big Bang Theory style writing. If you like that, if you like Friends, and you want that in your comic books, and you don't care about superheroes, you don't care about mythology, you don't care about things that comics are for, you just want a sitcom with people in spandex, then this is what you should read. Except it's not really funny because Brian Michael Bendis can't write jokes. So it's like the sitcom banter without the actual... Anyways. Next. Justice League. This is a book I'm a big champion of. Scott Snyder. Doing a fantastic job. Jorge Jimenez is one of my easy top 3 artists. If there's a book I want to buy from artists alone, it's Jorge Jimenez. When he is doing the book with Scott, which he is here, fantastic. Get Justice League. I was never a Justice League guy. It won me over. It's big ideas. This is what comics are about to me. Big superhero, big villains, larger than life. I love it. Number 4 is Excalibur. I've done a video on this, so you can see all my explanation there. It's no surprise. Actually, the biggest surprise is that this is number 4. I was expecting all the X books. There's 3 X books last week. I was expecting them to be 1, 2, 3. Excalibur, showing cracks in the armor at Marvel. let another non-X book get ahead of it. But still, being top 4 is impressive as it is, especially for Teenie Howard. This is probably the first time ever in her career that she's had 3 books in the top 5 in a row. So, yay for her. Batman, 84. I think people are reading this, I'm guessing, because it's the end of the saga, it's the end of King's run, and they're just waiting for the train wreck to end, and they just want to see whether you like it or hate it. It's everyone's along for the ride. You're this invested. There's one more issue to go after this. Like, might as well, right? So it's number 3. Can't knock it. Number 2 is Marauders, aka the Hellfire Club, the comic, and Pirates, and it doesn't feel like X-Men in any way, shape, or form. Any way, shape, or form. It's Gary Dugan just writing silly Billy goofiness, doesn't seem to understand things, and just makes everything dumb to me. I don't like it. Other people love it, so it's number 2. What do I know? And number 1 is X-Men, Jonathan Hickman, earning the spot with House of X and Powers of 10 alone. I myself am buying this book because he sold me. He earned reputation. These first 3 issues have each gotten worse than the next. The first one was okay. Second one was meh. And this third one was blah. So if number 4 is even worse than this, I'm dropping it. But I'm hoping, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you several issues. I will give you time. I will be fair and honest. I will. Anyways, a lot of people are loving this. I saw people doing reviews. Oh, this is the best book. Fantastic. Here is the tail of the tape, showing the top 10 in case you can't understand what I say because I don't enunciate very well. And there you have it. Moving on, next is digital sales. Marvel, wait, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not moving on yet. This is the final tally. Getting old sucks. This is the final tally. 4 to 5, Marvel to DC. If I was a better channel, I would edit this and do it over. But you get to see a gaff now. It's one of the blooper reel. I don't have a blooper reel. I just bloop in my video itself. So Marvel, even though it takes the top, 3 out of the top 4, it still loses DC overall. DC's putting out more quality books that people care about. Marvel's got a few things that people are really hot on, but most of the stuff at Marvel is garbage. They don't have talent. And it shows, because Marvel is by far the popular characters. Now moving on to the next segment, new number 1s. This was the one that I used to do Marvel, and I used to do the mockery of Marvel fleecing their customers with multiple number 1s every single week. It used to be you got a handful of number 1s a year, if that. Now Marvel produces more number 1s each week than it did in what I consider the golden age, my golden age of comics in the mid 80s to the mid 90s. But now it's all about gimmicks, not about quality. So I did this to mock them, but then DC decided, whoa, hold up, don't leave us out of this. We're going to produce a lot of number 1s too. And I was like, all right, DC, if you think you can handle Marvel, they're the reigning champ. So let's throw down Marvel versus DC, new number 1s, starting off number 1. And this is in order by users on League of Comic Geeks, based on their pull lists, who was pulling the most books. So I do that in this order. Titans, the Judas Contract, Tales of the Dark Multiverse was the most pulled book. So DC starts off the lead 0 to 1 in DC's favor. Next, by the way, that'll cost you $6. Next, coming out today, is Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child. This book had a lot of controversy with the whole China incident. I talked about that on my last Wednesday video. And DC now is 0 to 2. This book will also set you back $6. However, this is a nice prestige format, high quality book, around the same quality as Last Night on Earth, if you saw those. So Tales of the Dark Multiverse is as thick, but it's more typical comic quality, even though same price. I don't understand what DC's doing, but whatever. So DC leads 0-2. Spider-Man puts themselves on the board for Marvel. 2099 has launched. And, of course, there's a Spider-Man 2099. And, of course, every single issue is a number 1. So Marvel has decided they can't let DC take the title. It's no longer about making a ton of number 1s and rebooting all time. They'll just make every issue of every title number 1, and that will solve it. And if they do that, DC doesn't have a prayer because Marvel makes more books. So if every DC book is a number 1 and every Marvel book's a number 1, Marvel makes more and Marvel's guaranteed to win. And so they get on the board 1-2. This book will set you back $5. Next, 2099 number 1, also Doom. This will also set you back $5. I was almost going to get this because Chip Zdarsky, and I love Dr. Doom. Absolutely love Dr. Doom. He's one of my favorite characters. And I was like, no, don't buy into the gimmick, Ash. Don't. So I didn't. But I do want to check this out. I want to read it. I hope maybe Zdarsky will write something awesome and it'll make me go and pick it back up. So I'm sure it's not going to sell out. Now it's 2-2. 2-2. What's next? Oh, it's Harley Quinn's Villain of the Year. So DC puts themselves back up for another $5 book. Got the number 1. It's written by Mark Russell, who is a stellar, world-class writer. I don't know why this guy's not winning, awards every year. No, I'm just kidding. This guy's terrible. The only Harley Quinn book I've reviewed on the channel, he wrote, and it was, if you can go back and find it, it's ridiculous. Pardon the cough. Had a little Zach moment. DC is ahead 2-3. But Marvel will not be deterred because they have that new strategy where every book's a number 1, starting off with Annihilation Scourge. I don't know if this is the first or the second issue because it's number 1, but there you have it. And you're like, well, Ash, is there other issues? Yes, there is. Here's another one, Annihilation Scourge, number 1. So which do you read first? Beta Ray Bill? Silver Surfer? I'm sure you have to go online and get some sort of reading order list because they came out in the same week, so you can't even know. Whatever. 2 characters I absolutely love, but I'm not going to buy these. I'm not going to just subject. Marvel, make good comics again and treat your fans right again. That's a cool cover, though. I got to admit, look at that cover. But anyways, Marvel just takes the lead 4-3. What's next? Well, Marvel dipping in the well again for another Symbiote Spider-Man number 1 because you got to have a new Spider-Man number 1 just about every week. So there we go. It's Symbiote Spider-Man's turn. Marvel's dominating now 5-3. But DC will not be deterred. That Year of the Villain is genius. Dan Didio is patting himself on the back because he's come up with a way to have all sorts of number 1s for a whole year of villainy. I think Year of the Villain really is a reference to Dan Didio himself, though. I think he's the villain of the year. But we have Ocean Master, and this looks like some random font that you go online and you look for fonts, and this is so bad. But anyways, I'm not interested. But it's a number 1, and I'm sure this is going to be a huge collector's item, so don't miss it out for $5. 5-4 now. Marvel's has the lead, and Marvel's about to cement it with their Avengers Iron Man. This is their Gamerverse stuff. This is the stuff I just have to shake my head at. Marvel should be embarrassed. The game is a tie-in to the comic books. Marvel shouldn't be doing a tie-in to properties that license off of them. It's just so embarrassing. There's an Avengers game. Why are people buying an Avengers game? It hasn't come out yet, but they're going to buy it because they like the Avengers. They like the comics are the original material. When you start being, submissive or, when you subjective to the, I can't even talk, to the game property, it's just make Iron Man. Oh, I'm sorry, you canceled Iron Man. That's right, you canceled. There isn't an Iron Man comic. But there is Marvel taking the championship. 6-4. It's going to cost you $29 to get all the number ones from Marvel. $22 for all the DC books. Marvel had 34 new comics this week. 34 unique comics. 84 in total when you count all the variants and the reprints. 84. DC, conversely, only had 20, but that's huge for DC. Remember, DC just several months back was like, we're cutting back our line 15%. We don't, and DC was already doing like 60 books a month. Well, 20 times 4 is 80 by my count. So DC didn't really cut back. They upped their line by a good 20, 30%. No, not 30%, but is. And look at that. Look at their variant. 63 variants. DC is really pushing it. $22. It's going to cost you $51 if you want to get all the number ones. But just a little side note on this. As I was doing this list, I noticed when I pulled all the variants, neither Marvel or DC took the lead for absolute. Dynamite Comics had 86 total comics, counting reprints and variants this month. Wow, Dynamite. Holy crap. So that is Marvel versus DC. Thank you so much. If you watch this segment, I know I ran a little long. I'm long-winded. What can I say? You either love me or you hate me. That's why there's a fast forward. Fast forward to the parts you like if you can't stand it. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. Viewer mail is our next segment, and this is one that I'm really liking. Let's move on for time consideration. Michael Rasmussen writes in, it's probably just me, but I'd rather see a greater portion of your reviews be for books that you like and are excited about. This isn't just your site. I can only surmise that videos get more views when a reviewer tears into books, sometimes literally. I think he's referring to, Zach ripping up books. I really enjoy your channel when you're talking about what you like and why. Again, it's probably just me, but I wanted to share my thoughts. Thanks. Michael, no, thank you, buddy. Thank you for writing in. I wanted to put this on the video and speak to you personally. Hopefully you're hearing it. This sort of stuff is something I really consider. And let me tell you, I don't try to go find books to tear into. That's not what my channel's about. You'll notice I haven't done a Superman or Bendis book in a while. I really was doing books that I read. Now, when I started my channel, it was all just about books that I was pulling on my pull list. And then I realized all I'm doing is just talking about the books I like. And of course, and in the beginning I was doing this reviews, and I'm like, well, I'm going to review these books. I'm buying them. Of course I'm going to like them. And it's just me shilling comics, which I don't mind to do. There's a place for that, but I wanted some balance. So I was like, I need to show what I dislike in order to have some sort of contrast to what I like. And I realize that things can become unbalanced, and you might be referring to what's going on a lot is because of these X books. Number one, I'm buying these X books because I want to like them. I'm hoping they're going to be good. I'm honestly rooting for them, and then they're not. So that's why you're seeing some negativity, or maybe an excess of it, because that's the case. I can't control that, unfortunately. There has been an excess of negative stuff in my pull list, and X-Men is about to get cut. And if it does, well, then you're going to start seeing more, because I'm trying to make my pull list. Ideally, my pull list should be comics I just love all the time, but it's not always. But you're heard and considered. Thank you for writing in. Next is Michael Wood says, I don't see this new DX reboot lasting long. It's already boring. X-Force is the only good book. Hickman's Hoxpox was so good, but now even his X-Men book is boring as hell. I want badass warfighter old man Cable back. I want the School back. And I want a classic Magneto back. I'm already losing interest in the whole Krakoa thing. Well, I just talked about that a little bit, like I am too. I feel exactly what you're saying, and I want you to thank you for writing in and kind of echoing. It can be a little bit discouraging sometimes when everyone thinks differently than you, and as I talked about in the beginning of my video, like I'm seeing a lot of people, my peers, fellow YouTubers and stuff, like they're not seeing what I am, and they're just like, oh, everything's great. These Dawn of X books are fantastic. Oh, I love them. And I'm just like, they're not. And of course, no one wants to hear me, right? I don't want to, so I keep my mouth shut, and that's how it goes. Bob is Consumed says, for any Destiny fans, does Red Keep remind you of Scarlet Keep? Would this make Sebastian Crota? I play Destiny, FYI, by the way, if anyone cares. I like Destiny. Thanks for writing in. I thought this was kind of cool. I was like, hey, a fellow Destiny fan. I'm often very lonely and don't get to play Destiny with people. But no, it doesn't remind me. Scarlet Keep is all red. And Sebastian's is like this black crystal. Looks like, it actually reminds me of the Fortress of Solitude if it was made with black crystals. But thanks for writing in. Thanks for talking about Destiny. I love Destiny. Dane Barrett. We still disagree on this series. He's talking about Marauders. I think it is the most potential with its premise and political intrigue. Dugan just needs to use the same gravitas on this that he used in Deadeyes, and it could be great. I don't think Shaw cares about his son at all. He wanted him back to cement a balance of power. First of all, thank you for that perspective. I wasn't thinking about it that way, and that makes a little bit more sense. So, cool. I appreciate that. And mostly why I put this comment in my mail thing is I wanted to talk about disagreement. I thought this was really fitting on today's video topic is it's okay to disagree. And I like that Dane, I really appreciate, Dane, that you watch my videos, even though you don't agree with me. We live in a world today with so much identitarianism where people take whatever they like as representative of themselves. So if you like something, say Game of Thrones, and I say Game of Thrones is stupid, then you think, well, that means you're saying I'm stupid and I don't, by the way, I don't even think I love Game of Thrones. I don't know why I use that analogy, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, people attach too much to themselves, and they take the opinion about the thing to be an assault on them. And it's like, we need to break away from that. It's okay. You are not the things that you like. And if people don't like the things that you like, that doesn't mean they don't like you. That doesn't mean they're disparaging you. And if we all can start thinking like that a little bit more, we can start having open discussions and hearing perspectives instead of closing our minds off and just submitting ourselves to echo chambers. Thanks, Dane, for writing in. That is the end of the mailbag. Now it's time for New Comic Book Day. All right, we've reached the final part. New Comic Book Day. As always, show your receipts. I'm ahead of my budget. I'm trying to keep it $25. I don't want to spend too much on comics because they're frankly not that great. Well, some of them are. The books I pull are pretty great. You should check them out. Starting off with Independence, Oblivion Song. This is a book that I don't really cover on my channel too much because it's one of those type of stories. It's this ongoing mysteries thing, and it's very plot heavy. Everything about this book is the plot. You don't want to spoil it. It's a great book. Read it. Go find the trades. You can get them on good deals. Get into this book. It's great. It's like Walking Dead, except not with zombies. Has an ensemble cast. I've talked about this book. It's one of my top indie books, and it's worth your attention. Next, the only Marvel book to be on the poll this week, X-Force, number 3. I've talked about X-Men already today. X-Men or X-Force number 2 was better than X-Force number 1. So I'm hoping this continues. X-Force is the most like an X-Men book that I want. So I'm hoping that improves. We'll see what Benjamin Percy can do. I hear a lot of people hyping him up. I don't have that sort of fandom towards him yet. He hasn't earned that, but X-Force is one of the best books in the Dawn of X. So hopefully it can win me over. I'm willing to give it a few tries. So here we go. X-Force, here's hoping. Next, DC. DC still dominates in the realm of most quality books, worthy of my attention. And one of those books that I keep promoting is Justice League Odyssey. It's Dan Abnett, who is known for all of his cosmic stuff. Justice League Odyssey is the cosmic version of Justice League. Not everyone feels the same, but I think dividing the Justice League up into multiple teams like this just makes sense. It's cool to me. I'd rather have a Justice League Odyssey than a Titans, and I know Titans fans are like, blasphemer, get the pitchforks, but that's just me. Dan Abnett's writing a fun book. Check it out. Next, Detective Comics. And what do we have here? Yep, this book is written by Tom Taylor. No Peter Tomasi. I will be reviewing this book. You can count on it. I saw this in the store and I was like, what? You know, I do not like Tom Taylor. So he has done some okay stuff. I will be fair, I promise. But where's Tomasi? Where's my Tomasi? Another DC book that's been excellent is Hawkman. I just did a video on issue 18. This is a book I'm in love with. If you're not a Hawkman person, get Hawkman 1 through 12 and decide for yourself. It's one of the best story arcs in an ongoing comic I've read. I absolutely love it. I wish they would make a movie out of it. It's fantastic. And then the most controversial book of the week, a DC Black Label book. I made sure to get the FU China cover. So which one I'm calling this one. If China is going to associate this with Free Hong Kong, then I will too. So hashtag Free Hong Kong. And hopefully, I'm a huge Frank Miller fanboy. So I know some people are like, what, Ash? Some people are calling this like, oh, it's Trump derangement syndrome, yada yada, blah blah. I don't know. I haven't read the book yet. I hope it's not. I absolutely don't like Trump derangement syndrome. I also think people are really trigger happy. They're seeing, shadows everywhere. I think it's the Last Jedi syndrome, where, I listen to people hate on that film. They talk about all the SJW-isms that really just aren't there. It does not make you an SJW to have purple hair in Star Wars. It's space world where people have purple hair. And 20 years ago, we would have saw that and not had a problem with it. But today, we associate purple hair with something else. So obviously it must be. And look, before anyone argues and go, well, look what Ryan Johnson said and what Kathleen Kennedy said. Yes, they said stupid things. And maybe they are SJWs themselves. But anyways, I'm not going to get into a Star Wars argument here. But I'm just using that as an example where if you're going to be triggered by stuff, everywhere you go, oh, there's a picture of Donald Trump, it must be Trump derangement syndrome. Not necessarily. Let's ease back. Let's approach things with open mind. Let's remember that the Dark Knight, the original Dark Knight Returns, was all about Reagan, the Reagan era, and no one flipped their shit. It was a different world back then. And then finally, last but not least, another DC Black Label book, another Batman book, is Batman, The Curse of the White Knight. Sean Gordon Murphy. Let's push this back. Jeez. This is a phenomenal book. I did a video on issue 4. It brought tears to my eyes. It's so good. This book is so good. It's the only book I buy twice, which is something I would never do. I don't even do it with Frank Miller. But I don't know why I'm doing it now. I just love these books. I love the alternate covers featuring one of the characters of the story. And there you go. That's my poll this week. I don't have Stan and Forky to pick the good and the trash. So I'm just going to have to do it myself. What do you think it's going to be this week? I think it's going to be Batman, Curse of the White Knight. And as far as trash goes, and I say trash figuratively, but I don't necessarily think that's just my Forky reference, but it's either going to be X-Force or it could be. Frank Miller is hit or miss so these days. He's getting old, but he's the godfather of comics. He's the godfather of, no, that's Stan Lee's godfather of comics. What could Frank Miller be? What could he be? I'll have to figure out a good analogy. Maybe you guys can help me with the comments. Tell me what you're buying. Tell me what you picked up. Is there anything that I picked up that you're like, oh, by the way, I missed Flash. My comic book store had a late shipment. diamond never fails. And I didn't get flash, so that would normally be here as well. Next week looks like a huge pull. Holy crap. Thanks for watching this far. And Luke, say bye to everyone. Luna, it's the end of the show. Got anything to say? Love comics. Love good comics, right? But wait, there's more. You get a buck knife. No. As I was cutting my video and getting ready to publish it online, I got a delivery. And I was going to do an unboxing. I had planned on doing an unboxing. I was hoping it would come earlier, but it didn't. But it actually did come in time because I haven't finished cutting. But then it came in this weird box, and I was like, that doesn't look like... It's supposed to come in... What I'm expecting was something that would come in a box like this. You'll see. I already unboxed that earlier. You'll know what that is. Well, you'll know what that is when you see what this is. So I was like, is this really the same thing? So I opened it just to see what it was, to make sure. That's why it's cut. Plus, it's really hard to do this holding an iPad and doing one hand. But you can see, I was like, okay, that is what I think it is. Came with the cool things I like to pop. Alert. And then got the overhead light causing all sorts of stuff. We don't need a super box anymore. Move box. I said move. Trash, go away. Oh, you can totally see by the glare. Isn't that fantastic? Let's see if I can move down here. So, yes, look, it's Descender. This is volume 2. Let's see if I can slice this baby open carefully without damaging. I feel bad for people. I mean, not that I'm trying to give any pity, but it makes me think, how difficult it is for me just to do a simple task with one hand. For people that have lost a limb, or I suppose for people who are born without all their limbs, they grew up not knowing the difference, and they learned how to do everything. But I haven't. I'm so helpless. So here we go. This is beautiful. It's big. I have to really pull back to see. So that other box that I showed you had the Descender Volume 1 in it. I wish this would carry over on camera. How awesome this is. They have these, you can kind of see through the reflection how there's like a matte finish, but then there's the gloss part. It's a beautiful hardcover. There's no dust jacket, which I'm kind of happy for. I don't really like dust jackets. I suppose you can always remove the dust jacket, assuming they made a cool cover. But this book is awesome. I have pretty much read the entire first omnibus. I think this is like 500 pages. It's pretty thick. It's not super thick by omnibus standards. I got pretty fat fingers, but it's like 1.5 fingers wide if you have fat fingers, maybe 2 fingers if you're a normal person. 16 comics in there, 16 issues of the comic. So it's oversized. This is not comic book size. This is like 8.5 by 11. So it's like your typical sheet of paper. And I'm kind of nervous about bending it open all the way. It's just a beautiful book, and the illustrations inside, you can see beautiful kind of like watercolor painted on top of pencils, and Dustin Nguyen is the artist, and it's just gorgeous to look at. I've really, as I've grown accustomed to this art, I've really grown to love it, and it just looks really great on the page. And right now I have this great new page, this new book smell. I don't know if you ever get that, but I love that. And here I am spoiling stuff. I haven't even read these books yet, so I can't I don't want to spoil stuff for myself, but I'm about to dive into this, and I have now 1 and 2. I did a previous video unboxing of 1 you can find, and it's gorgeous. These are beautiful books. $34 on Amazon. Really, dog? Really? Figures. Thanks for watching.